So the title of today's talk is Letting Go and Letting In. And so I was just thinking about that, letting go and letting in. I was thinking I would like to let go of creating the talk for today and just letting in some inspirations. Yeah, you never know what's going to happen when we let go and let in. Hi. Hi, friends. I've been struggling with this thing about being on the stage. Hello. Somebody's phone's ringing. It doesn't feel comfortable looking down on my peeps. It feels like I'm looking down on you. So each week I think about, maybe I'll put a chair here and sit down. Would you be able to see me?
We want to look up to you.
Anyway, maybe I'll get used to it. But anyway, so we're talking about letting go and letting in, and one of the things about being vulnerable is we really need to take some time to learn who we are, right? It requires self-introspection. It's like those things about ourselves, even those things that we don't like. I know a lot of times in the past, I kind of didn't want to look at those things that I judged as ugly or undesirable or, those parts of myself that I didn't want to acknowledge even existed. Do you know what I mean? Am I the only one? I hope not. And so what I've learned over my own path, my own journey of remembering who I am, is that those things I didn't want to look at about myself, once I took the time to go within to really look at them and ask myself, well, why did I just show up like that? Why did I say things like that? I was like, this is not who I want to be. And then I delved deeper into, what happened in my past, why am I showing up because of something that happened? And I was able to discover that those things were coping mechanisms. They were my strategies for getting through whatever was going on in my life. And as I became aware of those things within myself, I was able to look at them in a different light and to thank them for helping them get me to where I am, and to be able to feel grateful that they served me to get me to this point, and that in my awareness I was able to recognize that I no longer needed them. I no longer needed those strategies and those coping mechanisms, that I could choose to bless them, thank them, and let them go. And so in that process, there comes a transformation, an internal transformation. And it comes from the awareness and the willingness to be able to look at those places in myself that require love and healing and compassion. And so when I was able to do that for myself, it became much easier for me to look out at other people and other people's behaviors and like, wow, why are they showing up like that? But then to remember, well, it could be their coping mechanism, their strategy for getting along in the world. This world is not that easy to get along in. And so then I'm able to have compassion for others and love them just the way they are, right? Because it's not about me. Whatever's going on in their life, that's what's going on for them. And what can I do? I can stand in love, I can stand in appreciation, I can stand in compassion, and realize that we're all doing the best we can in every moment, and that we're just on a journey, right? We're on this journey of self-evolution. So another thing that is required of us is allowing allowing ourselves to be willing to uncover those things about ourselves, but also to be willing to share them with people. We have to have that willingness within us. Because sometimes we built such a huge wall to protect ourselves that's so tall and so thick that we can't get through. We can't let ourselves share our deepest self of who we are with other people. And so it could require that we break the wall down. And most of us don't do it all at once. It's too scary to do that. So a lot of times we have to take the wall down brick by brick. And that can take a long time. And that's okay, right? We need to be okay with where we are and allow ourselves to take baby steps. Maybe just take one brick down at a time. And as we do that, it becomes easier. Like a baby learns how to walk and then run, it can become easier for us to allow ourselves to open ourselves up to not only know ourselves more deeply, but to allow others to know us more deeply. And when we do that, there's this beautiful opportunity for connecting at a heart level that we wouldn't get to have if we weren't doing that. So that's the gift in that. And opening up is not always easy. Like we said, it could be very scary. We may have had trauma in our past. That's why the wall was built. So it also, from that affirmation that we read a little while ago, it opens us up not to only more goodness, but all of life itself. The stuff that could be really messy, painful, stuff that we may not even want to experience. That opening up. It's a blessing of wholeness, right? Because even though we may experience pain and challenge and things that we'd rather not be experiencing at the moment, that's a part of the wholeness of all of life. It's the wholeness of who we are. And how in the world could we possibly live life to the fullest if we aren't allowing ourselves to show up fully in life? We can't really, right? So here's some questions to ponder. What are some key steps in letting go and letting in? Can I have that microphone, please? I'm just going to invite us to have an interactive session with each other because we're all here together, right? What are some key steps of letting go and letting in? Anybody have ideas that they'd like to share? Listening. Hillary, good one. Feeling, right? Right. Being okay with it, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Yes. Where is it in our body? What's it trying to tell me? Feeling through the uncomfortable discomfort can be so challenging. Did I see it? Yeah. Cynthia.
This comes from Matt Connie talks about accepting what is, and I find that very powerful. If I can't handle something, I first need to accept it. Okay, this is what's going on, and go from there versus denying it or fighting it or resisting it. I've never done that.
Beautiful. Yep.
I'm very stubborn.
Just accepting what is.
And then do your best to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Get help if you need it. Whatever.
Yeah, instead of trying to resist it or push it away or squash it down, accepting it, just accepting it. Yes, sure. Staying present. Yeah. I'm not always going to get what I want, but I'll get what I need. Right, Jean? Practice self-love. Absolutely. That is so important because when we love ourselves, we're loving the God being that we are. When we're not loving ourselves, we're denying that we are God in expression. Yes? Stop looking for happiness outside of us. Yeah. Right? It comes from within. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Connection to source. That's the thing, you know. So many times we're looking outside for something to fulfill us, to make us happy, to make us feel whole, right? But we already are that. So instead of looking that way, how about looking this way? Yeah. Anything else? Personal bravery, absolutely. Yes. It's hard for me too, Pat. Thanks.
It's
Yeah.
stepping forward, even if it's uncomfortable, to be in your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not easy.
Right.
You have to be vulnerable.
Yep, we have to be vulnerable. Step forward even though it's uncomfortable to be in our truth. Yep. Those are all beautiful things. Anything else? Thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. It feels good to be down there. Yeah, but then I got too old and I can't see the words when it's down there. No, Juanita made them big. Wait, I have more questions. Okay, here's another question. What areas in your life are calling for an opening so that your most authentic self can be made known? What areas of your life are calling for an opening so that your most authentic self can be made known? Yes.
Speaking exactly what I'm getting. You know, the divine is coming through. Speak it. Be willing, even if I feel uncomfortable. It's coming through me to talk to that person and tell them exactly what's coming through.
Yeah, speaking exactly what's coming through, even though it might be feeling uncomfortable. Speaking your truth is what I hear you saying.
Yeah, being myself.
Being yourself. Yep.
Being me.
Right?
Coming through and I'm going to allow it.
Allowing spirit to come through you and speaking it out loud. Yes. All right. Anybody else? Would you like to? That'd be great. Thank you. Thanks, Rev. Madeline. Yeah. So I'll say it again. What areas in your life are calling for an opening so that your most authentic self can be made known?
Self-care, to really take care of myself so that my truest self can come through. Sometimes it's easy to overlook that and take care of other things or other people, when really the most important first step for me right now can be self-care.
Oh, thanks, Mary Lou. That is so important. If you don't have that at the top of your list, I invite you to put it there. Self-care.
What I've noticed about myself lately, and I'm thinking is that the things I used to do, I don't want to do anymore. And the people that I used to like, I don't like them anymore. So I think we're going into our life is changing, that we need to get rid of the things like self-care. Yeah.
That's great, Linda. So self-care around who you want to be with and what you want to do, it sounds like. Mm-hmm.
And not just to please other people.
Right. Yep, don't please other people. Anybody else?
What was the question again?
The question is, what areas in your life are calling for an opening so that your most authentic self can be made known?
The transformation that Sierra Center is going through.
Beautiful. Did I see a hand back there? Okay. All right, great.
I also think it's important to prioritize what's really important. That's what's coming up for me right now, because I have given myself in service to a lot of different organizations, and I'm sort of going, help, help. I'm trying to do stuff for everybody, but you know, there's so much need out there. I can't meet it all if I don't as Mary Lou said, take care of myself and figure out what I really want to focus on now.
Yeah, that's such a great reminder. Thanks, Rev Lenny.
I need to work on my mind at night because I've noticed that I can be very positive in the daytime, and then at nighttime I have these negative thoughts and negative dreams, and I'm like, wait a minute. And so I wake up and I need to work on that little mind of mine.
Thanks, Javon. The naughty mind.
Giving up my coping mechanism of judging.
Yeah, that can be a hard one.
I'll go back to what Lanny said about priorities, and that brought up making choices. And I was thinking about my women's group that gets together once a month, and I got an invitation to get together with them. And I said, no, sorry, I can't. I'll be in jail. I'm taking a Citizens Academy class, and we're going to the jail to learn about it.
That's funny. Thanks, Shara. That's a good reason to be in jail.
The area that I need to work on is in relationships. I need to be my authentic self, and that's challenging sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a couple comments from Zoom.
Thank you.
Yes, so Jerry Lynn, and these, I'm not sure which question this is, I'm just going to give you their answers. Jerry Lynn, communicating, laughing, a new home connection. And Todd says, show up for people in our lives, even if you may not be feeling as such. Deciding on new purpose on the heels of retirement.
All right. Thanks for sharing out there in live stream land. Anybody else? Okay, one more question. How does our understanding of wholeness impact our ability to be vulnerable? How does our understanding of wholeness impact our ability to be vulnerable?
Well, we recognize and realize that we're not alone. And therefore, we can rely, use, and help each other.
Thank you, Marilyn.
I've contemplated wholeness for years. It's so important. You know, it makes me strive more because if I can be whole and bring myself to that point, what do I need to look at? You know, that or what section in my life, what issues that I'm not being whole, you know, I could be better. But it's always been a light. You know, there's a wholeness if I can work, you know what I mean? It's constantly working towards something.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, wholeness. You know, we have different dimensions in our lives. We've got work and relationships. Some of them have been mentioned today. And when we can take a look at each dimension and see, you know, what area of our life needs a little extra attention and love and evolution, then we can continue on our wholeness journey. Cynthia.
I see it the same as divine. There's this essence or energy, this wholeness that's all of life, contains all of life, and I find that reassuring because the human in me is, you know, dealing with all kinds of stuff and the planet and blah, blah, blah. But that there's a wholeness that's kind of a part of all of us, but it's also above and beyond us and around us, before us and after us. Somehow I find that reassuring, even as I go through my little daily stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I think sometimes an exercise could help. And something I'm trying to remember is if I start feeling confused or I don't feel like I'm in the present, focus on being in the present, can do that by taking a breath. My mother always said, take 10 deep breaths. Now, I haven't tried that yet after 68 years, but I'm going to try it.
Thanks, Don. If not now, when? Anybody else? Well, thank you. Rev Lanny.
I think being in nature helps me to see the wholeness and to remember that I'm a part of it. And, you know, we used to say, you are whole, perfect, and complete right here, right now. So it's really recognizing, acknowledging, and being that whole being that we are with all of our gifts and all of our warts and all of that stuff. So.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for that reminder. Shall we just say that together? I am whole, perfect, and complete, just as I am right now. I am whole, perfect, and complete, just as I am right now. And so it is. There's a quote from Ernest Holmes I just wanted to leave us with. At those times when we may feel challenged or afraid to be vulnerable and authentic, kind of touched on what Cynthia was saying. It goes like this: always there is an inner, quiet, persistent confidence, a non-resistant but complete acceptance, an inward flowing with the stream of life, knowing that it carries me safely and surely to my destination and to the accomplishment of every good purpose. I think I'd like to end with a prayer. So I invite us to go within. Just feel into this space right here, to the energy in this room. Realizing and recognizing that this energy is that life force, that creative spirit that breathes us, that lights our way through our journey of life. Knowing that we are whole, complete, and perfect right here, right now. And that this now is an eternal moment, so we are whole, complete, and perfect in every moment. Knowing that everything we need to know, to do, or to be is already available for our use. Everything has already been given us. Knowing that we are incarnations of the divine, that we can allow ourselves to show up vulnerable and authentic because we are that beautiful divinity in expression. I give thanks for this center and for all of us who are showing up to co-create something new and beautiful known as the Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. I give thanks for this beautiful spring day. I give thanks for all of life. And I speak a word of blessing on all those who may be experiencing grief and distress because of things that have happened in the world. And I speak a word of blessing on the whole world, knowing that this whole world is the infinite in form. And so I believe and I accept that there is a higher thing unfolding, that it is the perfect evolution of our individualized expressions, our souls, returning to that perfect remembrance of the magnificent spiritual beings that we are. And as we continue to wake up and remember the truth of who we are, we bless not only ourselves and our spiritual community, but the greater community and the world. For it is in this recognition of knowing who we are and whose we are that we get to show up authentically and let our light shine. And so I give thanks for this day, knowing it is holy. I give thanks for this life, knowing that it is holy. I give thanks for all that life has to offer us, knowing that we are a part of it. We are not separate from it. We are part of all of life. And so I release this word with thanksgiving for this time together, for this time of sharing, for this time of connecting, for knowing that we are on a journey that is a beautiful co-creation process. I just give thanks for everyone who has come together to show up and shine their light. And so I release this word as our truth, and together we say, and so it is.